This video will look at another one of Kevin O'Connell's staple concepts within his offense, the bow concept. While it may not be a front-side concept, the bow concept is a very valuable piece to carry along with you as you develop your passing scheme to create maximum stretch horizontally in the football field. Kevin O'Connell does a masterful way of packaging the bow concept with many different front-side concepts, leading to explosive plays and layering within his playbook. This diagram shows what the concept of bow looks like from a conceptual level based on Kyle Shanahan's playbook. You'll see the concept bow show up in Kyle Shanahan's playbook. You'll see it similarly showing up also in Sean McVay's playbook and Kevin O'Connell's playbook, but they may term it something different. When you look at McVay's playbook, it is oftentimes referred to as race, which I'll show to you here in just a second. However, the conceptual layout of bow has a couple of key components. On the front side of the concept, you can see here some form of an outbreaking route being the first read for the quarterback. That can be at a variety of different depths. It might be something as shallow as 4 to 6 yards. You also might see it as something more of a deep 8 to 10 yard outbreaking route, similar to that of a flag or a corner. Oftentimes also at the most basic level of the bow concept, you'll also see some form of an alert route with it. Now, this alert route can be a variety of different things depending upon the coverages that you're going to see, the checks that you want to get into, or specific game plan type of route combinations. However, in the most basic form of bow that you see in a lot of the playbooks, it is part of a high-low, usually smash concept here on the front side. The bow concept itself is this backside concept that you can see here with the number 2 and the number 3 reads in the progression. So as you can see here, you have some form of a dig or basic route that's going to be the second read in the progression for the quarterback. The third part of the read progression is going to be this stick route where the quarterback is going to look to wherever the receiver is going to settle. Either it's going to be at 4 to 6 yards and just hitching up and looking for the ball, or potentially breaking outside depending upon the leverage of the defense. The last part of what you're going to see here also is some form of a check release outlet, and that could also be used for any kind of field pressure or any kind of pressure towards the bow side if you want to bring that as a component for your offense. Additionally, if you want to keep that running back in for pass protection, that certainly is an option as well, but it is something that can be built in case you want an additional hot, in case also the alert route that you are tagging on the front side might be a longer developing shot type of route. Now, this diagram here is a picture of Sean McVay's version from his time in Washington of the bow concept. And as you can see, it's a little bit different on the front side compared to what we saw in the original version from Kyle Shanahan, but the backside component is still the same. Now, the other thing that's different here about the way that it is drawn up in this playbook with McVay is instead of a high-low read of some sort, you are seeing a low to high read on the front side. It still looks like a version of smash with like a swirl type of route here in which the first X receiver that's seen here in the diagram, he's running an outbreaking route and then returning back as coverage dictates. And then you are seeing here with the number 2 concept an inverted smash route as well. So depending on how you want to structure the front side, you can really do a variety of different things in the bow concept. But the back side of the concept remains the same in terms of your high-low from your basic or in-breaking dig at 10 to 12 yards, and then a stick route of some sort sitting at around 4 to 6 yards. This clip is going to show a 2024 version of the Minnesota Vikings running bow. You will see bow run at the bottom of the screen. Justin Jefferson will begin by running that 10 to 12 yard basic route. You'll see TJ Hawkinson running that 4 to 6 yard stick route. You'll see at the top of the screen still what gives the perception of a high-low read with a version of a smash concept, but it almost appears like it's almost a version of snag, where Jalen Naylor here is going to run that snag route, and then you're going to see Jordan Addison originally probably run a corner route, but based off of the leverage of the safety, instead of running that corner route, he'll actually sit and make it into like an inward breaking curl route. And then you can also see here check releasing the running back into the flats. Now again, you can put whatever you want on the front side of these concepts, and whatever it is that you might determine is going to be your number one read, you can determine it. You can add an alert. There's a variety of different ways to do it. We saw that with McVay's version versus the way we saw it with Shanahan's version. As you can see here, though, Sam Darnold is going to get off of his front side of his read rather quickly, and he's going to come back to find Justin Jefferson running the basic route as open in this concept. In this clip, you'll see the Vikings running Bo out of a 3-by-1 set, starting at the top here with Jordan Addison coming in motion. When he comes in motion, he then will drag across the field on a shallow route, about 5 to 7 yards. You'll see TJ Hawkinson, after a chip, work vertically and then start working into, again, hopefully a corner route or a deep breaking out route that he'll hitch up based off of leverage of the safety. And then you'll see at the top of the screen here, Justin Jefferson and Jalen Nailor running that version of Bo, where you're going to have the basic route here. And then you're going to have your stick route here. Again, you're also going to see Aaron Jones working some form of a release route here in a swing. But again, however you want to teach the quarterback in terms of reading that front side or progressing to the backside based on any kind of alerts, you certainly can do that. But this would be a version of you getting to still the Bo concept, but beginning in a 3-by-1 set. Clip appears to be a variation of Bo run by the Minnesota Vikings, in which they are going to motion Justin Jefferson into the backfield and put him at the running back position. And he's going to be used as part of the front side version of this concept, in which he's going to become, once he gets into the backfield, he's going to locate here, and then he'll turn into that first level outbreaking route. You'll see Jordan Addison at the top here, running that deep outbreaking corner route. And then you're going to see at the bottom of the screen, Josh Oliver, who's typically used as more of a pass blocking type, run blocking tight end. He's going to run a vertical stemming route to get the high safety and clear out. And then you're going to see Jalen Nailor running the 10 to 12 yard basic. And you're also then going to see Aaron Jones, after a check release, run that 4 to 6 yard stick route. So you're getting guys into different areas, but the concept is still remaining the same. By motioning Justin Jefferson in the backfield here, you are also then giving the opportunity for you to have your two best receivers on the front side of this concept, with Jefferson coming from the backfield and then having Addison also working the outside working route for that corner. And as you can see from the completion of this pass, every time you run Bo does not mean you have to throw to the backside part of the Bo concept. The Bo piece of it allows you to have that option backside working into the quarterback's line of vision. However, whatever you want to tag on the front side, if the front side concept is there, that can still be the primary read for the progression of the quarterback. All right, here's a creative version of Bo run by the Minnesota Vikings out of an empty formation. You can see here they're going to start by motioning Jordan Addison across the field to get to their empty look. Once they get into this look, now they're going to get into their Bo concept. At the top of the screen, they're going to run the Bo concept with Jordan Addison running the basic, with Jalen Nailor running a clear out route, and with Johnny Munt running the stick. At the bottom of the screen, you're going to see Justin Jefferson run a pick play for Aaron Jones, who's going to run a fade up the sideline and serve as the alert for Sam Darnold. So depending on how you want to structure this read, this fade could be your first read. And if that is not there, you can then work backside to your Bo concept, which would then bring Jordan Addison as your default number 2 or your 1B, depending on if you want to make it potentially a 1 or 2 high pre-snap read for your quarterback, which would dictate whether or not the fade is even in play or not. If you do want to make it just a full progression, then you can go from your fade back to your bow concept, reading your basic, then back to your stick route. Now, this next version that you're going to see is more of a unique wrinkle that I've seen Kevin O'Connell run during his time with the Minnesota Vikings. That is a different version of bow than you would normally see, and likely is going to prompt a different read progression. Let's start here at the top. In this rep, Justin Jefferson is still going to be running the basic route at about 12 yards. But now what's going to be a little bit different is you're going to see Jalen Naylor here run an over the ball route. And then you're going to see here TJ Hawkinson with an outside release into his stick route. Now at the top of the screen, you're going to see a little bit of a different variation in which you're going to see Jordan Addison running some form of a version of an outbreaking route. And you'll see, based on the leverage of the cornerback and the press coverage that he gets, that Sam Darnold gets off of this rather fast. But again, this still carries much of the same concept and read progression that a traditional bow would, in terms of the top of the screen, Addison being the number one read in the progression, then coming back to the basic here by Justin Jefferson. And then now your third read can be one of two different things. Your third read could be the over the ball, and then coming back here to the stick route being your number 4 read, or you could even vary this up where your over the ball becomes your second read in case you see any form of pressure from the middle, and then making Jefferson's basic your third and the stick fourth. I think looking at kind of the purpose of this play from O'Connell's perspective versus teams that he feels he gets a lot of middle pressure, or versus certain teams that are going to give a lot of potentially like Tampa 2 looks where they're really going to be clearing out the middle linebacker to drop back into the middle part of the field, like in this vacated area here. This could be a helpful outlet for the quarterback, especially if they feel like that basic window is not going to be available. So I think this is a wrinkle that could be particularly useful to have with a quarterback that feels comfortable with a pure read progression. In this version of bow, you're going to see what we talked about in the previous clip in terms of when you would use the over the ball route in the variation that we just talked about. So at the beginning of this play, you're going to see that Jalen Naylor is going to come in motion. And when he comes in motion, he's going to create a 3-by-1 surface here for the Vikings. As he gets set, you're going to see him then run still a very similar version of bow in which they're going to be on the front side of the concept. In this case, you're going to see Jalen Naylor running the basic route. You're going to see, in this case, Brandon Powell running the over the ball route. And then you're going to see TJ Hawkinson, after a chip, again working to his stick route. At the bottom of the screen, then you will see Jordan Addison run more of that outbreaking route towards the sideline. So again, this would be the way the concept is constructed. The basic in this case would not necessarily have to be the second part of the read progression. You'd still have this outbreaking route as your first read. And then if you see any type of a blitz, which you'll see in this clip, now that over the ball route becomes the number 2 read, the basic becoming the number 3 read, and then finishing up number 4. If you get all the way through that progression, you would then finish up with the stick route here by Hawkinson. This clip is going to show a variation of the stick concept with a double move attached to it. So what you're going to see at the top of the screen is going to be the basic route run by Jefferson, part of the traditional bow concept. You're going to see Jordan Addison run the stick concept, but then you're going to see him turn that into a wheel route as part of the double move. At the bottom of the screen, you're going to see TJ Hawkinson run the out-breaking route, and Sam Darnold's going to zero in on that out-breaking route to set up timing for the stick and go to create separation in the defense. This is a nice variation to be run, especially in short down and distances, or potentially in the red zone here, like Kevin O'Connell has dialed it up.